And if I go while you're still here, know that I live on, vibrating to a different measure, behind a thin veil you cannot see through. You will not see me, so you must have faith. I wait for the time when we can soar together again, both aware of each other. Until then, live your life to its fullest, and when you need me, just whisper my name in your heart. I will be there. Hello everybody, welcome to Life in France. Life in France versus life in the UK. I'm Mark, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget, hit that red button so you don't miss any future releases. In today's video, I'm going to talk about grief, losing loved ones, and in particular losing loved ones over the last 18 months with COVID and travel restrictions in place, restrictions on funerals, and how to cope with loss during this time. Now, firstly, I'd like to apologise to all my friends on YouTube that I haven't visited recently. You'll see why in a minute. Basically, I lost my dad on the 6th of June. He went into hospital one day before his 84th birthday, on the 20th of April. He'd fallen over, he had a fractured nose and fractured rib and arm. After the first week he was saying how bored he was and he just wanted to get home. They kept him in to do physio, and week after week he started to deteriorate, and he actually died on the 6th of June, which was a surprise. He was my best friend, my hero, and in this video I'm going to explain how I coped with his loss, how I made myself feel better about his loss, and it's all down to something I've talked about on an earlier video, neuro-linguistic programming, basically how powerful the mind is. I won't go into too much detail today, but I'll give you the concept of why it works and why it's helped me due to the grief. With neuro-linguistic programming, everything is energy. We are made up of molecules that are energy. Every object and thing on this planet is made of energy, and in the same way there's radio waves around us, there's television waves around us, and if we were to put a portable radio on this table, tune it in, we could pick up radio stations. In the same way, if we put a TV on this table, we could watch telly with the aerial. And basically how neuro-linguistic programming works is they believe that as soon as someone has a fault, that energy is around us. You know, when you put pen to paper, you're encapsulating those faults on paper, so they're there forever. And if we could get a certain device that we could put on this table, we could tune in to people's energy, to their faults. Now that's how and why neuro-linguistic programming works, okay? I haven't explained it properly yet, but I'll give you another example. Mother's intuition that their children are in danger. The mums are just tuned in to their children's wavelengths, and they know if their child is in danger. They just have that gut reaction. In the same way, twins often could be sitting in different classrooms and they could take an exam, and it's been proven, and they get the same answers right as they do wrong. And to give you another example, it even works with plants. They did an experiment at Kew Gardens. They subdivided a plant, cut it down the middle, repotted it, let it grow fine for a little while, and then they took one of the plants to Australia, let them grow apart for a year, and they then wired up the plant in Kew Gardens to an ECG. And in Australia, they asked them to basically trample the plant in Australia. The exact moment the plant in Australia was trampled, the ECG of the plant in Kew Gardens went off the rails. That's a plant. Now, I've never seen one, a ghost, but again, I think people's energy levels perhaps are so strong that they leave like their energy behind them sometimes when they depart. And some people are just tuned in to those wavelengths, and I think that's why some people see ghosts. They're tuned into it. When you get some people that walk into a room and the whole room is uplifted, or you can feel the energy coming off that person, that's how powerful some people's energy levels are. Now, with all that combined, this helped me grieve my father. Basically, what I did, 2 years ago, I made a video with him of his whole life. From his childhood, through his military service, meeting my mum. She was 17 at the time, and he was 21. From them getting on to being married, having the 3 children, his grandchildren, and it went through his whole life, giving advice to his grandchildren in life. And it was a 45-minute video that I created. And basically, what I did, like a treasure chest, I got a tin can, a metal tin, and I bought a new memory stick and transferred his life video on that memory stick, and I've placed that in the tin along with pictures with me and him, with the grandkids and him, and my boys actually wrote him a letter and made some pictures for him, and we put all that in the tin. I've then buried that tin underneath a statue in the garden, and for me that statue has become my radio, my TV. I feel there's so much energy coming from underneath that ground that I can feel my dad's presence. And that's what comforts me so much during this moment of grief. I can place flowers on his grave. To me, it's his grave, because I couldn't go back to England for his funeral. And, I've basically buried his life essence, his energy, under the statue. And, I put flowers on the statue every day. I can touch the statue and I can feel his energy, and I talk to him, and that's really helped my grief. I mentioned my dad was my hero. He looked after my mum with Alzheimer's for the last 7 years. He always jokes that, if I get to 70, that'd be fine for me, because he'd been in the building game all his life and he just felt, he was got knackered. But he actually passed away at 84. And I think the last 6 years actually kept him going because he was looking after my mum. She had Alzheimer's, and no matter how rough his days were, and particularly during COVID, he was 24/7 her full-time carer. He couldn't go out and actually have conversations with normal people. He couldn't talk to anyone. I spoke to him 2 or 3 times a day, and my sister spoke to him a couple of times a day as well. That was the only contact he had. But he was a real trooper. And he had his vaccinations for COVID in January and February. But he actually caught COVID in March. And although he wasn't hospitalised, he started to go downhill after that. And my mum went into hospital in March. Sorry, she went into a home in March, and literally a month later my dad had had a couple of falls, and then he went into the hospital on the 20th of April and passed away on 6th of June. Now you've got to bear in mind, my mum and dad hadn't been together for the last 5 or 6 weeks. My mum died on the 13th of June, 1 week after. They'd been married 59 years, together for 63. It was as though my dad had pulled her to him, and they just wanted to be together. And their funeral was last Friday. It was a double funeral. The one thing that has given me a lot of peace is the statue that's in the garden, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I can really feel my dad's energy levels there, and it does give me a lot of comfort. And I think if anyone's in the same situation where you can't get to a funeral, you can't say your goodbyes, give this a go, because it really has helped me and my family. The whole family, we had a little service by the statue, we lit candles, we said our farewells to my dad, and every day we put flowers on the statue. And I just pass by, and sometimes I just touch the statue, and I can just feel his energy. And where I've been used to talking to him 2 or 3 times a day, I can just touch the statue and just have a conversation with him. So I'll show you the statue in a minute. Here's my dad's statue, the Buddha in peace. It really has given me a lot of comfort. I feel that I can feel his life presence here. We're going to find another statue for my mum, perhaps a Buddha sitting down, and we'll place that beside my dad. Although I do feel her energy here as well because they were so close. But it has given me a lot of comfort. As I said, we had like a burial service here, lit candles, said our goodbyes, and it really, really helped. I know he's with us, and he'll always be. One thing I'd like to do is to read a poem, Ascension, and I really believe in this as well. So I'm going to read that out to you. And if I go while you're still here, know that I live on, vibrating to a different measure, behind a thin veil you cannot see through. You will not see me, so you must have faith. I wait for the time when we can soar together again, both aware of each other. Until then, live your life to its fullest, and when you need me, just whisper my name in your heart. I will be there. That was Ascension by Colleen Hitchcock. It's something that I would want read out at my funeral, for my children to hear and my loved ones. And I feel that with my belief system that I can tap into my loved ones' energy and gain their wisdom, their strength whenever I need it, just by calling their name in my heart. Guys, I hope you found this video of help and of interest and maybe some comfort. And you know, if you can't get to a funeral yourself due to limitations on people able to go to the funeral or travel restrictions because, like me, you're in a different country, I hope this video can show you a way to find some comfort. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you again soon.
Big muscles, everybody! Big muscles! Who's got the best muscles? Most muscular pose?
Oh, he's got best chest.
Double bicep?
Look at mummy.